you got it.
I think this is a role I was born to play. Someone who is despicable and evil.
One of my favorite parts of this idea from the very moment that we started to work on it was making a movie about a guy who liked to do bad things.
I think in almost every movie you see, the most interesting character is the villain.
And I love that he's the villain, like the villain's the lead for once.
Like anybody who takes pride in their work, he wants to be the best at being bad.
I will be the greatest villain of all time!
Being bad is very good.
Gru is a guy who loves to be bad. And I think that was a great way to create a villain that has appeal for an audience.
What is the reality of life for a villain? You know, where does he get his money? Well, just like you and me, he has to go to a bank and get a loan. And where does he live? Well, he'll live in a neighborhood, but his house may not be exactly like all the other houses. And what's his relationship with his parents?
Good luck with that.
You take a villain, but then explore what the realities of his life would be.
Some fella just stole a pyramid. They're saying he makes all other villains look lame.
I think all of us, whether you're 6 or 66, have a mischievous side.
We love the idea of just really embracing your dark side a little bit. We all want to be bad. We all wish we could, not wait in line for coffee, and so you wish you had a freeze ray and you could just freeze everybody and cut in the front of the line.
It takes place in a world where there are villains, super villains as a matter of fact.
Which of the world's villains is responsible for this heinous crime? And where will he strike next?
Gru is someone who has devoted his life to being evil, to being a mastermind, to being a despicable human being. And there's someone out there upstaging him, and he doesn't like it a bit.
Vector! That's me, because I'm committing crimes with both direction and magnitude. Oh yeah!
And it becomes a bit of a feud between the two of us as to who will be the reigning supervillain.
It's the old school villain versus new school villain.
Oh, I hate that guy.
He does not consider Vector a worthy opponent.
Gru had his day, but it's time for Vector to step up.
Frankly, I don't like your attitude.
Despicable Me.
Okay, here we are, home sweet home.
Gru lives in a black house in this picture-perfect suburban neighborhood with the only blight on the neighborhood being his house.
He's not a cookie-cutter kind of guy. He doesn't have the fresh, trimmed grass in the front yard. He doesn't want to paint his house the bright and cheery colors that all of his neighbors do.
You know dogs, they go wherever they want to go.
Unless they're dead. I'm joking, although it is true.
He takes joy in his badness, and I think it's reflected in his house, in his underground lab, in the people and minions he has working for him, and kind of in how he relates to the outside world.
They walk into the house and they're just completely in shock by the way it looks, basically. It's just like this dungeon type, really drab, dark colors, and he has this crazy dog that runs over to them. They aren't even sure if it is a dog. It's like some insane animal.
Gru's house is a super villain version of a normal house.
When you go inside, what really sets his style is his vast collection of artifacts from his trade. So whether it's old spears or torpedo heads or an antique Iron Maiden, it is probably the least kid-friendly environment that you could imagine.
Are these beds made out of bombs?
Yes, but they are very old and highly unlikely to blow up.
When you're single and you have sort of your single house, there tends to be a lot of edges and angles to the house.
Go away, I'm not home. Welcome to the fortress of Vectortude. Oh yeah!
Vector is a spoiled, rich kid. So he lives in a very modern, kind of state-of-the-art house.
Vector's fortress is very cool. This is the new supervillain, and so everything he has is spotless. Everything is shiny.
It's like a total bachelor pad. If there are chicks out there looking for an evil young dude,
What are you looking at?
Vector's the guy.
Oh, yeah.
His television is this huge wraparound television,
Oh, yes.
and he's got a shark underneath his couch.
Down, boy. Vector, open up. Yeah.
I've got all sorts of things to stop people from getting into the fortress. I've got boxing gloves,
Yeah.
a buzzsaw.
Don't you? Ooh.
I've got guns of all different shapes and sizes. It's a pretty impenetrable fortress.
Pretty impressive.
Both of the vying villains have a lot of gadgets.
Have you ever heard of a freeze ray?
Freeze ray.
It is a ray that will freeze you in your tracks. But it helps if you actually say the word freeze ray as you're shooting it.
Freeze ray!
He has some fantastic cars. They are massive and incredibly powerful, and tend to burn things in their path.
What I really wanted to show you was this.
Nefario is quite brilliant. He has equipped Gru with an array of weaponry.
There are wonderful contraptions, some of which were needlessly manufactured on account of mishearing information.
No. I said dart gun, not. Okay.
You just never know what's going to come in handy.
Check out my new weapon.
Vector also loves to invent his own weapons.
Oh, yes.
I've invented a piranha gun, which shoots live piranhas.
Oh,
And it's very difficult to load, because fish are slippery, and piranha have teeth.
Yeah, I think that was Chris Renault's idea, was the piranha gun.
And then we just kind of went from there.
Squid launcher. Oh, yeah.
I launch a lot of aquatic animals. That seems to be my forte.
Minions assemble.
The minions are basically the guys that Gru, unfortunately, has to rely on to get the job done.
Tim, Mark, Phil.
Papoy? Akala na Papoy? No. Papoy. Ah, Papoy.
We sort of started with that concept of little guys.
It actually started up by being thugs, like big guys,
Yes,
muscular ones.
that's true. They were kind of more like stormtroopers, or henchmen. And then the idea...
didn't have the money to do this.
Yeah, that's right.
So they became
All those
little
human
yellow
figures.
pills.
Yeah, exactly.
Spit up.
They're sort of these subterranean, genetically engineered creatures.
But then again, he knows everyone by name.
Yes, exactly. But they're good friends. Yeah.
Looking good, Kevin. How's the family? Good? All right.
They're just the guys that he has to rely on. But of course, they're also a bit like children in their own right, in that they very often sort of get knocked off course. They sort of lose focus, or they get into fights with each other. They're a bit irresponsible. So that's a quality that's emerged that we've played up through the movie.
These characters are irresistible in their combination of innocence and naughtiness.
To steal the moon, you have to steal a shrink ray.
Sorry to bother you, Mr. Perkins, but I figured that you would want to see this.
You write the word shrink ray in the script, and you just think of a ray gun, and then you see the design, and you realize, wow, this thing is awesome. And it's got moving parts, and it spins and lights up, and the hum of it. And so seeing the design for that and seeing that come alive, it was like, it just went from a word, shrink ray, to this really cool thing that I kind of want.
The art in the movie is absolutely wonderful, and it's quite brilliant, and the designs.
The details within the world are quite striking in their realism.
On a film like this, you have people who have to design everything. These guys have to design the grass and the sidewalks and the streets and the parking meters. And so it's really amazing when you look at the detail and the little things in the background and realize, wow, somebody designed that doorknob.
You're funny.
Girls, I want you to meet Mr. Gru. He's going to adopt you. And he's a dentist.
We wanted to just explore all the different facets of parenting.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, son. You've turned out to be a great parent. Just like me.
On a lot of levels, we all kind of feel like nothing I do is good enough for Mom. Nothing I do. Dad's always a little disappointed in me.
Why is it that nothing I do is ever good enough for you?
There's a relationship between Gru and his mom. There's a relationship between Vector and his dad. There's these three girls who have a horrible mother figure in Miss Hattie.
Off you go. Go clean something of mine.
We always felt like if you could see Gru as a child, as this little boy who just wants to go to the moon and had that dream crushed by his mom every single time, then you'd sort of start to get where he was coming from and would help you root for him.
Look, Mom, I drew a picture of me landing on the moon.
She's awful.
But funny.
Nothing her son can do is right for her, and he tries so hard to please her, and she's just not having it.
Here he is.
He looks like a girl.
Yes, he does. An ugly girl.
I feel like the dark side of Julie Andrews has been peeking through for a long time. I mean, ever since Sound of Music, I thought there's something not quite right about this lady.
She is a terrible lady.
I think Gru has no frame of reference in terms of children because he has this terrible mom.
As you can see, I have provided everything a child might need.
He seems to think that they're pets at first. He has a place for them to go to the bathroom and a place where their bowls are to eat.
You will not cry, or whine, or laugh, or giggle, or sneeze, or bark, or fart.
I don't think Gru ever thought he would be speaking to a child, let alone reading bedtime stories or going to dance recitals.
Pinky promise?
Oh, yes. My pinky promises.
He thinks it's gonna be easy and they're just gonna stay in their room and be quiet and not bother him. It turns out to be a whole other thing.
It's not what he wanted. It's not what he ever imagined his life would be.
It's just funny seeing these three little girls that are so innocent and cute kind of bossing around this villain that's trying to take over the world.
Actually, we're going to have to skip the dance class today.
Actually, we can't skip the dance class today.
They're probably the only people in the entire world that can tell Gru what to do.
But even the toughest guy can have that side brought out in him, particularly by these three amazing little girls.
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die!
They really are great for each other. They bring out the best in each other. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too.
And then the scene in which Gru realizes, I've kind of fallen in love with these girls. He has to shut the book quickly and get out of there because it's too much for him.
He learns that there is more to life than just being despicable.
Watching Steve Carell and the animators combine their efforts to track a character from being really wicked to being incredibly vulnerable is a great aspect of watching this film.
You start with the page, and the artists take it and just add a layer to it that gives the character real depth. And then getting comedic actors to play the roles is such a huge advantage.
The actors get one sentence on a sheet of paper, and then they transform it, and then that's where magic happens.
The team of actors that make up the cast of this movie are quite extraordinary. Steve Carell, Jason Segel, Russell Brand, Miranda Cosgrove, Julie Andrews.
Will Arnett, Kristen Wiig, Jack McBrayer, a pretty formidable group of characters, I think.
Every name that we kept hearing attached to the movie was cooler than the next.
I feel very lucky and humbled to be a part of it. And I know they feel really lucky to work with me.
It's really exciting for me to see me in a scene with Steve Carell, because I really admire him as a comedian. Jason Segel, I already know him, so he holds no cachet for me.
I'm like totally comfortable with that.
I'm just saying, Steve Carell, I haven't got his phone number.
Good luck.
Jason, talk to him now if I felt like it. Just ring him up.
Hello?
I think everybody feels lucky to be a part of this.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah. And clearly, everybody thinks exactly how I think.
That's what I'm talking about.